It's your girl, aka Mirror Blog, aka Just the Mirror. I don't know, I changed my name a couple of times, and this is what I'm gonna stick to, just my name. Couple things. It's been a while, maybe a couple weeks, I haven't noticed. And thank you if you've stuck around, subscribed recently. I appreciate it. As you can see from my thumbnail, what I'm going to be talking about, and I'm going to get right into it, is regular show. As I've grown with Cartoon Network since I was a wee little lass, and they got me in this, I got this connection with cartoons that they've had in the past, for example, Imaginary Friends, freaking Flapjack, and Chowder. I'll even go into the back of Ed, Edd and Eddy, but I feel as if Ed, Edd and Eddy had more of a lasting run. But when I became, I want to say, a teenager, I'd realized there's a history of Cartoon Network canceling cartoons because of the fact that their audience that they really want, their target audience, is really little kids. And I guess the audience that they were getting was adults or a little bit older teenagers past their prime, getting graduating from high school, because unfortunately when they didn't get their target audience, what do they do with the show? They give it the can, they cancel it. And not in a way of how cancellating things are now where it's problematic. No, there's nothing problematic about the cartoon. There's some things that may go awry or go over a child's head, but there's a lot of cartoons that do that. But if you have a target audience, at least you're having somebody watch it and enjoy it. Why are you going to take it away? I don't understand this. And I understand, but at the same time, SpongeBob SquarePants is kind of a variety of all audience. And the cartoon I'm talking about now, which was two of them, I'll also include Adventure Time and Regular Show. I've known this show from when I was a high schooler, I want to say sophomore year or around that time. But by the time, it was out for a couple of years. But, it was a really good cartoon nevertheless. They canceled it by the time I was I want to say 23, 24. I'm 27 now, so it was kind of weird, and it just showed me that that time period has passed, and it was upsetting because I really enjoyed Regular Show. I really enjoyed Adventure Time, but like I said before, I'm not their target audience. I'm an adult, and their idea is they really want kids to watch this, but at the same time, you have Adult Swim on Cartoon Network. That's after 9 o'clock, I believe, is when the adults get to watch the cartoons and the little weird stuff that Adult Swim wants to play. That's cool. But even, I was thinking that Amazing Gumball would be eventually canceled because it is a good cartoon. And because of how, spontaneous, I guess, or out there they are with their animation is really amazing, and also with the themes they talk about can be considered some things not really adult, but in some standpoints could be considered something that a kid would not understand but an adult would. So either all ages would appreciate it, and they're still running. So that's what I mean by okay, so their target audience for Regular Show was not for me or maybe a teenager, but these two characters was for adults. They were Rigby and Mordecai. They both were kind of around their 20s, and they never really brung up their age. In the episodes, they would joke about it, they're in the late 20s, they're slackers, they work at a park, and live in a house with a group of other people that just kind of don't take their crap, and it is what it is. But their main goal is kind of just live without doing anything. And that was the funniest thing, because even though it was a regular show about two slackers, stoners as well, they never really indicated it, but at the same time you get it. But they just go throughout their regular day and something weird happens, something random, or they have to do something, and at the same time it was really good. There was just unique episodes, and there was other, generic episodes, maybe filler, but it was never boring where I'm just like, next, change the channel or something. And it was only 15 minutes, so it was never in that point of like boring. It was always something unique anyway, so not to downplay it. But unfortunately, I knew something was going on when they brought up this character was a goat, mad random. I think his name was Greg, and it was just kind of like he's there. I thought somebody made this character, and he was just put in to the show for like, hey, we made like a contest or something. But since I had never seen an explanation for it, they just added this character, and in my head I was just like, alright, when the show is about to get canceled, if they start doing random things you don't expect and they don't explain why in the show or any background for it. And then the other thing that Cartoon Network loves to do now when they're about to cancel a show is give them a movie for some reason. And this is like the end all do all. We're going to sum up all your answers, like, is Mordecai gonna finally confess his love to, I forgot her name, I want to say Bridget, but the Robin, I don't think that she was a Robin, but I just forgot her name. And it's just like other things that is also like, to me in the movie, just like all of it once was filler. And I didn't even get the chance to really see it. I'm not trashing it because they had two movies, I believe. One about back in time. Well, they're both about time. But at the same time, it's just like, it didn't do it justice to even explain it in the movie because what was there to explain? We could have just kind of ended it there. And they don't, unfortunately, with shows that are being canceled, they don't explain why. But we can figure it out. We got Google. But at the same time, this is what I have. I don't want to say a love or hate relationship with Cartoon Network because I don't got cable, so it's not a really big deal. But when I did, and I was progressively watching this cartoon, and Adventure Time was also another thing that would, if there was, okay, let's say in a sense, Adventure Time, this is going to be a far stretch. Adventure Time, a regular show, started so Gumball can run, if you get what I'm saying, because without those like random cartoons or like very colorful, and they had story, but regular show didn't really, it had a story in each episode, but it was not, okay, I'm not gonna downplay it, but some of the stuff was really random and just kind of like episodes. And since it's 15 minutes, I'm not gonna go deep in, like, it's not something like super deep. Whereas Adventure Time, they had a longer episode. I don't feel like cartoon, and this is all my opinion and stuff, these are not facts, but regular show was just kind of put there, and I don't think they really believed in the show, so that's why they put it in like less of a time period. And then they started doing the marathons and stuff like that, so it was already showing that they wasn't like committed to the cartoon. But why did they cancel Adventure Time? I don't understand that. Whereas this was like, regular shows, it had its time. And Adventure Time, it's gonna be eventually kicked out and get canceled too. But what was the need for it? People were buying the merch, but I think also the same way if the target audience was supposed to be for kids, but it wasn't. There was jokes in Adventure Time and storyline that was more of like Stranger Things or something like that. Or yes, the base, like there's a teenager involved, but at the same time, the adventures he was having with Jake was for adults. He almost died several times, and he's still making out alive. But I don't understand why they have to cancel these shows. Or at least, I don't know if, no, they don't have, Cartoon Network doesn't have like a streaming channel like where Disney has one, but they should do that, or put it on Netflix, because We Care Bears has one, and that's another cartoon. They're coming out with new seasons, but I'm afraid like if they don't have a certain target audience that Cartoon Network Network once, they're gonna cancel it. And I like We Care Bears. I can see that on Netflix, so that's cool. But if Cartoon Network kicks them off, I'm gonna be mad. Like, I don't like Nickelodeon, and I don't really watch cartoons anymore. But when I was a kid, I grew up on Nickelodeon, but then they started doing all these stupid shows like Carly and all that crap. But that wasn't from my age group. I was like, even though when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, that came on like a certain time when I think I was like in high school. I don't remember. But like those shows like Hannah Montana I was in their target audience pretty much. But at the same time, it's just like, if I was their target audience or I was at the age of that, I wouldn't have been interested anyway. But regardless, I still like cartoons. I like also anime or whatever, but I'm not a huge fan where I'm watching it on a regular basis. But I appreciate the art. I'm really into horror, so my favorite illustrator is Junji Ito. It's more graphic than like regular show, but at the same time, Adult Swim, I think they should have transferred regular show and Adult Swim to the actual to adults. The Cartoon Network should have turned it to Adult Swim if they were going to be canceling it. But that should have been the transition, because regular show was really for adults anyway. So that's why it's kind of confusing why they just simply canceled it. It's just like, yeah, it had it run, but we're not gonna keep this anymore. And I don't know. This is like one rant because it keeps happening. And since I don't really, like I said, I don't have cable, so it's not a big deal. But for someone in a younger age group who likes this cartoon, but because there's not a higher demographic of the target that they need for the audience, they cancel it and they don't give you an explanation. It's kind of like, all right, that's canceled. The regular show is canceled, but here's Johnny Quest that nobody watches. Nobody watches that crap. It's really dumb, and Johnny Test is a ripoff of Johnny Quest. That's why I confuse the names. And if you don't know what Johnny Quest is, this came out, I want to say, in the 1970s or 80s. And the difference between Johnny Test and Johnny Quest was going on adventures like Indiana Jones, but he was a teenager. Blonde hair, wore the black like turtleneck, and his adversary or like partner was like somebody from, I don't want to directly say it, a race, but in the favor of Indian, and they would go on adventures, like I said, like Indiana Jones. Whereas Johnny Test was total opposite. His sisters are twins, they're scientists, and they do tests on him, I guess. Like I said, I don't really watch it, but from what every time the intro came on, I just changed the channel because it was really annoying. That show, and probably problematic to some people who did like Phineas and Ferb, I didn't watch that. And at that time, I was like high school when that came on Disney. But I've heard about it, but I would change the channel when it came on. So, I don't know. I don't know what cartoons, and I don't really pick on like Disney or Nickelodeon because I don't really watch them. But when I was growing up watching like the cartoons I just mentioned, they get simply canceled. Chowder was canceled, but I don't know how huge their demographic was, but I liked it, and I knew a lot of other like acquaintances of mine liked the show, and that got canceled. Chowder, there's numerous like imaginary homes. I can't say the whole thing because I forgot the whole title, but with Blue and Mac, those are iconic characters, but they were still canceled. And that's why I feel like if you have a target audience, but it's not the one that you really want, make a streaming channel. Look how Disney is doing. They're booming because of the fact that memorabilia is profitable. And not that they don't know this, but bringing up old cartoons like Ed, Ed and Eddie, and for Nickelodeon, Cat Dog, Hey Arnold, and all this stuff, because there was a period of time, I want to say that I'm probably wrong, but Nickelodeon, because Nick at Night, I don't even know if they still have that. They, one time during the summer, I want to say 2015, brung out all the cartoons that they just kept in this, like a lock, and then just had this one period of time during the summer, all the cartoons just come on. And that was super random, but appreciated, because it's like, oh my god, remember these cartoons? Wow. But as of right now, it's more like we have to wait until it's on Netflix or maybe this or that. Like Disney Plus has, I don't really care about the movies or whatever they have. 3 shows I want to see. Teacher's Pet, The Weekenders, they don't have that on there, and then also Proud Family, because I heard that they're going to have new seasons of Proud Family, so I'm looking forward to that. Otherwise, I would have canceled it, because one show is on, but I don't think it's the full season for Teacher's Pet, and then they have the movie. But I don't want to go into it and then skip the seasons I missed or whatever, and then watch the movie, because it just doesn't make sense to me. But then at the same time, like, why didn't they put The Weekenders on? Even if it was on, like, Disney XD or whatever it's called. That's part of Disney, isn't it? So I was just like, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, and I should just go back to watching boring adult crap. I was gonna say America. I like American Horror Story, but they just, like, they have a gap. The beginning seals you in. I'm glued, at least for me. But then eventually, there's a middle where there's just a bunch of filler, and then they kind of don't know what to do with it. And then boom, the last episode is just like either a hit or miss, sometimes even both. And it's kind of weird, but at the same time, I don't religiously watch it. I'll kind of, whatever's on Netflix, I'll watch it. But my favorite season from American Horror Story would be, I was gonna say Freak Show, but actually I like the second season, Asylum, because that was the first season that I watched thoroughly, and I was like, wow, this was really good. Towards the end, wasn't like perfect, but at the same time, I liked the development of the characters, blah 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 blah. It was good. But then the recent one, Apocalypse, was all over the place. And I get how people want to connect the dots of how each season makes sense to be coordinated, whatever. I don't want to do all that. I feel like it's better that it's separate, like how Tales from the Crypt, those type of episodes, there was no connection to each one, and there was also comics before the show, but did I need some type of like, oh, there's gotta be a connection to this? No, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's kind of just the story is left alone for you to continue, or up to you, and that's it. So that's why it's kind of weird to even have it like open-ended type of thing, or cliffhangers are fine, where you can imagine what happens next. Whoa, mind blown. Not tell me every freaking detail, and then this is like, maybe in my head, I think that, giving the whole answer to me is not having me escape the whole imagine, like what I could think happened. And I'm not going to put like a thesis or anything, but that's kind of interesting. A lot of directors in film do that, where they leave your opinion to it, because art in general is subjective. So if you're giving me the answer to what I think would happen, kind of just destroys that regardless. And there's other classic horror series similar to American Horror Story that came out before them, and they never did the whole connection. Each season was connected to each other. Maybe that's cool with them because of the fan base asking for that, but for me, it's kind of like here or there. Whether they do it or not, I'm not like really concerned about it. But yeah, if you want to see, I'm going to cut this short because it's like going on 20 minutes. I don't want to do this whole long rant. If you want to see another video continuing this, give that thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? Just like thumbs up, it's right there. If you're new to this channel and this is your first time seeing me, hi, hello. There's other videos if you, and you know, I'm pretty bomb. I'm just saying, like, subscribe, and you know, see you in the next video. Bye.